How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back. So I'm really excited to rank the 10 films that I have in my collection from Brian De Palma. This is actually a really great director. He's had a lot of hits. He's had a lot of misses too. He's a lot of films. I think he's in his 80s now, I believe. A lot of great stuff though. But I only want to rank the 10 that I actually have in my collection because I think these may be the only 10 I've ever seen. And obviously, you're welcome to let me know in the comments some of the movies that I've missed, maybe ones I need to check out. But I think I have some pretty good ones here. Obviously, De Palma is known for being some people kind of compare him to Alfred Hitchcock, or maybe thinks he has copied stuff from Hitchcock. And De Palma definitely will tell you that Hitchcock was a huge influence on his career. Okay, so number 10, this one's actually probably I saw this for the first time like last year, maybe the year before. This is it's listed as a 1973 on Criterion. I actually have three Criterion films on my top 10 here, but it's listed as 73 in that. But if you watch if you look at IMDb, it says like 1972. So because it was released as a film festival kind of thing. But the movie is Sisters. This movie is a very bizarre movie. Not the most bizarre movie I've seen from him, but it's starring Margot Kidder. If you've seen the Superman movies, it has Jennifer Salt, it has Bill Finley. You'll see Bill Finley listed in another film I have here. But this one's very bizarre, very strange. It kind of borders on horror, I think, basically, or kind of a bizarre kind of horror kind of stuff, you know. So number 9, this one's from 1974, and this one is more bizarre than the last one I talked about. It's Phantom of the Paradise. This is one I saw when I was very young, really too young, I think. It was on like network TV a lot when I was a kid, so that's how I saw it. And it's so bizarre. It's like a modern day kind of take on Phantom of the Opera, but it's this one is starring Paul Williams. He's a musician and an actor. It also has William Finley, and the last film it actually lists him as Bill Finley. This one lists him as William Finley, and it's the same guy. It has Garrett Graham is in it. He's really great in the movie. But this movie is so bizarre, so bleak. Just the way it goes down. To me it's a one that's the most oddball in the De Palma filmography. But I think it's great though. So at number 8, we're actually jumping 10 years here. This one's another one I saw when I was a young kid, and it's kind of scary in some ways, but there's a lot of humor in it too. But the movie is Body Double. This one is like I said, 1984. It's starring Craig Wasson or Wasson. If you know Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, he was in that one. It has Melanie Griffin, has Greg Henry. But yeah, this one it's almost like a softcore porn in some ways. To me, I think it's a great movie. I ordered this one from like Australia to get this one. You can get it now more easily. I think it may have maybe a 4K release now. Okay, so number 7, this one's from 1980. It's a Spine Number 770 from the Criterion Collection. And the movie is Dressed to Kill. I know this one has a 4K release now, but I have it on the Criterion Blu-ray. And I think it's an interesting movie. Definitely a movie way ahead of its time. Definitely kind of dated in some ways, but it's really great though. It has obviously Michael Caine's in it, Angie Dickinson, Nancy Allen. I think she went on to, I think maybe a year later or so, or a couple years later, got married to Brian De Palma, and she's been on quite a few. She's in like 3 of the films I have on my list here, but this one's very bizarre. It's very strange. It's almost like horror in some ways. A lot of scary stuff in it. So at number 6, this one's actually jumping a year later, 1981. It's Spine Number 562 in the Criterion Collection, and the movie is Blowout. This is definitely starring John Travolta. It's him kind of breaking away from that like the 70s stardom that he had, all the stuff he had with Grease and Saturday Night Fever and Welcome Back, Kotter and all that stuff, great stuff he had back then. But this one's very different. This is probably one of the first like true like acting roles that John Travolta had, and it was definitely an influence on Quentin Tarantino, because Tarantino loved this movie, and it's kind of his inspiration for casting Travolta in Pulp Fiction years later. But this one's really great. It's kind of I think there's like a foreign film called Blow Up that was like the inspiration for this. But it's very much like if you've ever seen like The Conversation from Francis Ford Coppola. It's kind of in that vein in some ways. So number 5, I don't think some people would rank this quite as high as I do, but it was a start of a film franchise. It's It's from 1996, and the movie is Mission Impossible. I thought De Palma did a great job kind of setting the tone for this franchise. You know, I think they kind of stumbled on Mission Impossible 2, but obviously De Palma only directed the first one. And I thought he did a great job of kind of giving it kind of a European kind of spy film kind of look and feel. But this one's great. It's, you know, Tom Cruise, John Voight, Ving Rhames is in it. I love what he did with this one. It's really dark. Had a clever kind of story. Maybe some of the CGI effects maybe kind of dated in some ways now. But to me, I've loved this since the mid '90s. So number 4, this one's actually from 20 years earlier, from 1976. And if you're like a horror fan, you probably have this one ranked a little bit higher. But the movie is Carrie. You know, iconic. This is probably the first one that I think a lot of people noticed De Palma, you know, from. I think some people may know Phantom of the Paradise, but this is the one I think that was really more mainstream and one people really noticed. It has a Sissy Spacek, John Travolta is in this one again. It's P.J. Souls. She was in quite a few, you know, a lot of movies in the 70s, and she was a star in that time. And also, obviously, Nancy Allen's in this one as well. But this one's really kind of a dark film, especially if you know the gym scene that happens in the movie. That's the iconic scene that if you're a horror fan, you definitely remember that one. And to me, it's great horror. It's a great film. So at number 3 from 1993, I have Carlito's Way. This is another one I had not seen in a long time. This is the most recent one that I purchased from De Palma's filmography. It's from the Arrow collection. I got online during the Barnes & Noble sale. Actually, I bought it on Amazon, but it was during the sale, and Amazon was doing like a price match because Barnes & Noble was out of this movie. But it has starring Al Pacino. He's really great in this. Sean Penn has this really weird hairdo in the movie. Penelope Ann Miller is really great in the movie, and has John Leguizamo. His character is interesting. This is really early John Leguizamo, very young, and this one's very dark. It's a reuniting, De Palma with Al Pacino. All right, so at number 2, actually from 1983, I have Scarface. This one's definitely the most violent film I have, and this one, this is obviously the first time that De Palma and Al Pacino worked together. As Michelle Pfeiffer, as Stephen Bauer. This one's really great. This was written by Oliver Stone, and like I said, it's De Palma at his most violent. I think he got criticized a lot for the violence in this movie, but to me, it's really great. Obviously, there was a Scarface film back in like the 30s, I think, that was very, very different. This one, Al Pacino was kind of playing a very similar character that he played in Carlito's Way. Okay, so at number 1, this is from 1987. The movie is The Untouchables. This one, that's I've always loved this movie. Starring Kevin Costner, as Sean Connery, the great James Bond. He won an Oscar for this role. Sean Connery did really great in the movie. It's well deserved. He finally got some recognition from Hollywood. As Robert De Niro, really great villain in this movie. Andy Garcia is really great. So this one, I had to put it at number 1 because I've always loved this movie. I'm sure a lot of people. I've looked at a lot of top 10 lists and other De Palma rankings, and I usually Untouchables isn't quite as high as I have it, but I think it's the greatest story of all the films I have ranked here. It takes place in Chicago during the Prohibition era, and I think Elliot Ness is really great. The character Kevin Costner plays in the movie, and like I said, it's a great mafia kind of movie, and to me, it's number 1. Okay, everybody, so I really appreciate you watching this video tonight. Like I said, leave in the comments, give me your top 10 or top 5 or however you want to rank him. He has quite a few films. It'd be hard to rank them all. I'm sure a lot of people have never seen a lot of his movies, like not all of his movies. But obviously, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. And please put a thumbs up on this video. It definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm. And everybody, have a great one. Thank you.